I was having a little problem trying to get into my live. It was supposed to start at 12 o'clock. Good morning, good afternoon. How are you? How are you? Welcome to my live. It's not about me. It is not about me today. How you doing? Praise God. Welcome to my live this morning. I'm trying to see what's going on here. Okay. So how y'all doing? How y'all doing? I pray everyone is up in their glory this morning. It's kind of cloudy and it look like it's going to snow or rain. I don't know what's going to go on out there today. Yeah, but I'm about to take this robe off because I am feeling very, very, very irritated. I'm about to take it off, but I had on my, what you call it? Well, anyway, y'all, how y'all doing? I'm going to wait for some more people to get up in here so we can start our conversation about what's taking place now with Robert Sylvester Kelly and how we're going to continue to keep moving forward for the upcoming year of 2022. Um, so far, I'm trying to, not we, but so far, I'm trying to go forward in celebration of his birthday, which is going to take place on December the 8th of 2022 in the new year. How I'm trying to get everybody to participate. That's going to be very difficult for people to do because some people, like I said, some people live in different states, cities, whatever. But whatever platform, channel that you actually support, I would say that those people should be like trying to help their. Hi, Carolyn. Good morning. How are you? Those platforms should be more trying to get their team together, like those who will be there for that channel to support that channel. Like we did the same thing when we I'm sorry, when it was going on for the rally that they was having, the protest they was having in New York when Roberts in August, I believe that was in August in New York, and the supporters and everything got together. Some came from all different platforms to come out to support that protest. And I'm blessed, Carolyn. Praise God. Yes, Carolyn, guess what? I used to live in Killeen. I actually used to live in Killeen, Texas. And that was in 2000 and I believe 8. 2000. I was in Killeen before I even got here to Delaware. Yes, Carolyn. I just wanted to tell you that. I forgot to tell you that, mention that to you. Good morning, Georgia girl. How are you? Praise God. Thank you for stopping by. Oh, I know you passing through. I know you got your own thing going on your channel. Well, I'm glad you stopped by this morning and thank you. I'm trying to keep the colors in Christmas. Got my little red robe. I got this one. Many Christmases ago, a couple of Christmases ago, whatever, with the slippers and everything. But the slippers are all ragged out now because I wore them things over and over. That's all I ever expect for anybody to get me is a pair of pajamas, some slippers, and even a bathrobe or whatever for the holiday. I love those things. I don't know. I like to be cozy for Christmas. But like I was saying, like everybody that support a platform, if you support those platforms or whatever in content around. Yes, Carolyn, I used to work actually for First National Bank of Texas. I worked in the basically I worked out at Fort Hood, like at the Fort Hood branch out there in that area, supporting the families and the soldier families that had accounts and getting accounts with them. I remember going to HEBs and all that other stuff, the big supermarkets out there, like the HEB, Walmart, I believe. I liked Killeen. Killeen was beautiful. Actually, I used to attend church over, oh, what's the name of this church again? It's an AME church. Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you all about that story, girl. When I was out there in Texas, actually, my niece that passed away, she was a soldier out. I mean, she was in the National Guards, and that's where she was stationed at in Killeen, Texas. So basically, I went out there at that time to help her out when after she had her baby, her and her husband had the baby and stuff. So I was there supporting her or whatever. I wasn't there married to a soldier. And believe me, it was like 10 men to one woman in Killeen, Texas. That was the fun part about it. And it's funny that my husband actually served in the military there in Fort Hood, but I didn't know him then. He was in Fort Hood, and so was his brother. And we'll get into. Oh, okay. So you retired. Okay, you a soldier, Carolyn? I didn't know. Well, I salute you, veteran. Yeah. So Killeen is beautiful, though. It's beautiful. I mean, to me, it's a small little, state in. I mean, small little place in Texas. Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wait till I call my friend. What you call it? I'm gonna find out because I was supposed to be out there visiting her for the longest. One of my roommates that was out there, I was out there with. Yeah, I supposed to have been visiting her for the longest. Oh my God. Wait till I give her a call. Maybe you might even know her, but we have to talk offline about that. Yes, 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 yes. So, like I said and everything to you all, I was just telling you that we're gonna try to do what we gotta do for Robert Sylvester Kelly. If any of y'all are interested in attending the event, please let me know. Please let me know. Um, like I said, I was supposed to go out to New York, hopefully, probably next weekend, and get some information for you if I can to what we need to have there for the party. We supposed to be celebrating Robert's 55th birthday, and I wanted to really make it exciting for his fans and also to bring more information what he's going on, what's going on with him out there. I had wrote something and I was supposed to leave it in my description box, but I wasn't able to do all of that because I don't know, I kept having a problem trying to put this information in this video that I'm doing now saying it's not about me. I just wanted to just like bring awareness about this conversation about what we're talking about. It's not about me. This is about Robert Sylvester Kelly. Every time I come on here, I'm just looking for ideas and ways that we can help in this fight against the injustice that was served to Robert Sylvester Kelly, and also that we don't get caught up on too much with the bloggers. We are here for Robert Sylvester Kelly solely. We are here for Robert Sylvester Kelly. Now, if anybody want to raise money and do anything for the cause, they should do that, and if people want to pay them a little extra something on the side, then they welcome to do that as well. But please make sure that you do fund the fight. This is what I'm saying. Don't spend the money on your living. That's not cool. That is not cool. If you call to this fight to do what you got to do to help in against the injustice with Robert Sylvester Kelly, I believe that some of the profits that you're receiving should go towards the cause. It should not all go on you to buy a new car, to pay your rent. It ain't for your living expenses. It's for him. This money could be used towards the cause. This money could be used for transportation to get people to come to the protest, to get buses to get them there, or whatever vehicles you may have to use to help get people to come out to the protests and everything from whatever city you might be traveling from. If you are on a platform in support for Robert Sylvester Kelly, the money could be used for the banners for Robert Sylvester Kelly. The money could be used also to get material done for Robert Sylvester Kelly. If we have to pay to get newspaper articles, news articles out there, things, petitions out there to get done, and we need money to support these things, this material, this is what you need to collect the money to do and put it towards Robert Sylvester Kelly. People could say what they want about Sylvia. And I'm going to say this. And I said to Sylvia like this, regardless whether I agree or disagree with you, and if you like me, if I don't like you, if you don't, we don't like each other, or whatever, we have any disagreements. Really, to be honest with you, I love everybody. Okay, I may not sometimes agree with everything you do or everything you say and how you go about saying it, and how you do it, and I feel the same way for me. People ain't gonna agree with what I say or the way I do things or whatever, and it is what it is. But when you put yourself out here to fight against something as sensitive as this right now that's going on with Robert Sylvester Kelly, you know you're going to be under attack for a lot of things. Sometimes your wording may not come out the right way you want it to come out to reach the audience that you're speaking to. Sometimes it's just not going to go right. You're just going to have your good moments and your bad moments. But still, in all, what I can say about Miss Sylvia, infamous Sylvia, is that she puts herself out there. She shows up at protests. She get material out there. She do the best. Wow, Carolyn. Yeah, she do the best job she can as a one woman standing on her own, and how she gets her team to come out and support her. I met Sylvia up in personal. I did meet her at the last protest that was in New York. One of the last protests that was in New York. I was out there. I got to meet her. I got to meet Texas Black Diamond, and their people that came along to be out there to support them. They've been showing true good leadership. If you ask me, even with all the dragging, especially for Sylvia, not too much with Texas, but I don't think she's been dragged a lot on these YouTube streets. But Sylvia came from a very controversial platform. Okay. And then not only just that she came from a controversial platform, people got close to Sylvia, got to know Sylvia, had Sylvia do certain things for them, and she offered herself to them to do certain things or whatever. And still in all, she still keep fighting. She still keep going. And I know it sometimes gets weary for her and it gets confusing for her, just like anybody else. But still in all, I know since I've been here and since Sylvia been around, since Sylvia, she has been um, putting herself out there publicly publicly. So we got to keep her lifted in our prayers and keep her, encouraged to still stay in this fight no matter what. And I know she had a lot that went on in her own personal life or whatever, things that has attacked her personally in her life or whatever. But still in all, for this fight for Robert Sylvester Kelly is nothing but, I believe, a true living God that is continuing to keep her focused and to keep her going strong in this fight for Robert Sylvester Kelly. Her and a few other bloggers out here. So I'm just saying, for Robert Sylvester Kelly birthday, instead of flying banners over the water or doing anything like that, we all need to come out with our team that we support, whatever channels that we rock with so hardly for Robert Sylvester Kelly, and you believe they are the truth, need to come out and show your love and your support on January the 8th for Robert Sylvester Kelly's celebration of his 55th birthday. That will be in Brooklyn. I am going to work with I'm going to contact some people that can help me out of how I can, keep put the flyer out there or whatever, like on YouTube or whatever, to put that information on YouTube for people to come out. Because the reason I'm choosing his celebration of his birthday is because when I said either Christmas or his birthday, I noticed that most of the votes went towards his birthday. So we're going to go lean towards his birthday. I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to make it about me, because my birthday also falls on the calendar on that Wednesday, but I had wanted to celebrate it in New York with my family and with friends for me. But I'm out here freely, so I could choose whichever day I could celebrate it and make the sacrifice and come out and be there to celebrate Robert Sylvester Kelly, and give him some hope and keep his spirits lifted, that we, his fans and supporters, truly care about him, his human rights, and we not satisfied with the verdict that was given to him. So I ask that y'all put those of you who have a dislike for each other, can you please try to put your feelings aside about how you feel about what you feel with each other, and think about Robert Sylvester Kelly and why we are all here to join in this fight. It's not about that blogger. You don't have to go to their channel. You don't have to deal with this person. You really don't have to have no kind of communication whatsoever with them. All you got to do is just come out for the fight and come out for the cause, and just come out and celebrate his birthday among those who love him and care about his well-being right now, and want to keep him in our sincere and fervent prayers, that he will have a successful appeal in the coming year of 2022, and that his time won't be his time won't be extended in being in this correctional facility or being held without bond and be waiting for his sentencing for his trial that was in New York, and hoping that the ones that he has that are right now trials that he are facing in the future, that some of these things won't go forward for him, that they would finally come to the understanding that this man is being accused for 30 something years of his life, and this should not be, and he was not even given a fair chance, even in this fight, in his trial in New York, against some of what the witnesses from the government had said on that stand during cross-examination. When his defense team cross-examined them, they had so many holes in their stories, and a lot of stuff was found to be fabricated or exaggerated or whatever. Um, and we didn't have a suggested juror, so that was hidden from the public. That was hidden from everybody. So we don't know who served on that jury, and the things that they put in to charge him with 9 counts of Mann Act, RICO, Mann Act, whatever, in this Law Mann Act, which we all know, like I always continue to say, is problematic, that this man is being tried for some law that hasn't existed for many, many years and hasn't been used for many, many years. Yeah. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And another thing I wanted to speak on is that last night, as I was doing my live, I was talking on the topic of the fight back in the days with civil rights leaders and how they were under attack, and the things and the brutality that they had to endure during their fight for during segregation, and having the right to sit in places where they paid the equal amount of fare to get on buses, and how they got harmed in prison and everything. And I'm sure some things went on in the background that wasn't to the public, on the simple fact we didn't have the kind of technology that we have today to put everything on social media, to expose everything on social media, which kind of would have harmed us to move ahead to have the advantages that we have today. See, social media could be used for good, and it also can be used for evil. So some people feel they get the joy and the pleasure of exposing someone's life and putting all what they can find on a person on social media to ruin that person's character or their reputation, not knowing that it's going to be the same stuff that can be happened to them someday. In a time of a moment when you slip up and you're not even thinking, it can come like a thief in the night. So I say be careful about how you always want to keep putting people up on social media, exposing them to make people turn bitter against them or sour against them, or to turn people against them. It don't look good on who you are. If you ask me, it don't look good of what kind of person you are. And I don't believe in fight too evil for evil either. Okay, to those people who are being attacked, I know they say it's easy said than done when it's not you. It has been me, but I know God fights my battles. God can do a whole lot more harm to them than I can. So I'm just saying, because he sees everything and knows all about it. So he knows how to step in the way when the enemy try to come like a flood against you. They ain't saying weapons, no weapon form shall prosper, meaning weapons will come, but they won't prosper. Always remember that and believe it in your heart, truly. Um, And another thing I wanted to share about that civil rights thing, I was listening to Dr. King last night as I was about to turn in for the night. That late in the midnight hour prayer. And he talks about his prayer he had and talk with the Lord late at night, looking over some things he had in his life to make him not want to go forward. This moment of weakness. from the attacks he was getting and things that were coming at him and the harm and the threats that were coming to harm him and his family. But he know who his calling was for. His calling wasn't about him, and it wasn't about his children. It wasn't about none of that stuff. And if he didn't go forward with the fight he had, his own children wouldn't have never had got the privileges to go to be. I mean, and I'm sorry, even his own children would not have had the opportunities that they was able to get through his fight. Even though, like I said, Martin Luther King did not come from a very, very poor family. He did come from a black family that owned property, and that was a very dignified family and everything. His father was a minister and everything. And people back in those days in black communities, if your father or somebody in your family was a person who done ministry or whatever, you lived in the community around the people respect you. And people actually made you an important somebody to that community, which you are an important person to that community. Today they don't even respect ministers because some of them don't even get out there and do what they really supposed to do. They don't really get out there to help the poor people like they should, talking to the homeless, the sick, or whatever, unless they're doing it for a show. But I'm just talking about just really actually taking off your suit, taking off your that collar that they wear or whatever like that, your clergy collar, and just really go out there and just walk around the people and disguise yourself to reach out to help somebody. You don't even have to tell them who you are, what church you belong to, but just to talk to people to see where they're at in their life and to hear their story and what you can offer in your resources that that can help them. You'd be surprised, disguising yourself to go out there. Don't have to walk around with a big old cross. Oh, I'm minister so and so, looking for that kind of respect for the person to hear you. Sometimes you just gotta a lot of times that's what they did. Well, look, not in this not in the civil rights leaders movement or whatever like that. But Martin, he did get down there with the people, to meet them where they were at. And a lot of times, I don't see these ministers today disguise themselves. People don't recognize who they are just to go undercover as a minister, to go out to do God's work, to help God's people to really know what these people are living, where they at in their conditions. Even Christ said, when you go out there to do my work, don't carry nothing with you. No money bags, leave this behind, leave that behind, and just get down there where you see the people that are living lowly in life, the people that are living like whatever. But if they don't receive you, you just move on. You don't stay there to fight with them or to beat them over the head with the Bible or to beat them with the word or whatever. You just give them a little dose of it and encouragement or whatever. And if you have any resources to offer them, I ain't saying give them money. Or you can take them to a place and sit down with them and have a meal with them if they're hungry. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't advise you if they stinking and dirty to go sit down in a restaurant and clean them, but you can encourage them. Like I know a place where you can get a nice meal and you can get a warm bed and some food to eat, and also to bathe if that's what you're in need of. And if they refuse it, then you did your part. Turn away. But anyway, I just wanted to just share that with you all, and also I wanted to share. I had to look up look up from one of the great that civil rights leaders, one of the greatest. And I don't care what nobody say, he will always be one of my greatest because I could listen to him to be encouraged, and also especially fighting with this fight for the injustice done to Robert Sylvester Kelly. How I have to move forward. He speaks to me from the grave. And I still and I really truly admired Dr. Martin Luther King. I don't want to hear no story about his book and all this other stuff and all that. I don't want to hear about who betrayed him and all that stuff. I don't need to hear that because everybody gonna have a Benedict Arnold or a Judas or whatever in a righteous fight or anything. You're always going to have somebody who's going to betray you. So this is why I say To be a part of this fight, you got to be prayed up and you got to be strong in the Lord, because this is a righteous fight. But I'm going to get to the Martin Luther King speech. YouTube don't own the rights to this video. This is for entertainment and criticism content. Somebody, if one of my mods in the chat, could you please put up the disclaimer for me? Copyright disclaimer. I'd appreciate it if you're in the chat. Could you please put up a copyright disclaimer for me? I don't see none of my mods here, huh? But I'm gonna go on anyway. I might have to cut in between this video because of, stop at some moment. I have to pause it because I don't have a copyright disclaimer. Oh God.
I never will forget one night, very late. It was around midnight.
I'll turn the TV down a little.
You can have some strange experiences at midnight. The telephone started ringing and I picked it up. On the other end was an ugly voice. That voice said to me in substance, "Nigger, we're tired of you and your mess now. And if you aren't out of this town in 3 days, we're gonna blow your brains out and blow up your house." I've heard these things before, but for some reason that night it got to me. I turned over and I tried to go to sleep, but I couldn't sleep. I was frustrated, bewildered. Then I got up and went back to the kitchen and I started warming some coffee, thinking that coffee would give me a little relief. Then I started thinking about many things. I pulled back on the theology and philosophy that I had just studied in the university, trying to give philosophical and theological reasons for the existence and the reality of sin and evil. But the answer didn't quite come there. I sat there and thought about a beautiful little daughter who had just been born about a month earlier. We have 4 children now, but we only had one then. She was the darling of my life. I'd come in night after night and see that little gentle smile.
Now you see how he had to sit back and he had to do some reflection on things about his own life and the things that he was putting at risk to go forward to fight for civil rights, for humanity. Let's go on and listen to the great king of Martin Luther King. Let's see what happened here.
I sat at that table thinking about that little girl and thinking about the fact that she could be taken away from any minute. I started thinking about a dedicated, devoted, and loyal wife who was over there asleep. She could be taken from me, I could be taken from her. I got to the point that I couldn't take it any longer. I was weak. Something said to me, "You can't."
Front door.
Okay, I'm back, y'all. I'm sorry. Interruption. I thought somebody was at the door, but there wasn't. I just needed to check. But anyway, let's get back to listening to the great civil rights leader. May his soul always rest in heavenly peace for his strong and hard and long fight against the injustice that was being done back in the 1950s to the 1960s and 70s, 60s for God's people, and the things that was done against his people and the sacrifices he made to make it better for those of us that was coming behind him, for the next generation to come, and even for his own children. The sacrifice he made of his life and the blood that he put on the land for his people. People don't want to listen to this story when I say there is a true God. And a lot of these civil rights leaders today, I don't follow because I don't see no Holy Spirit moving them. I see dollar signs, profit over people. Okay. Benjamin Crump, all he do is I don't see him litigate nothing. All he do is get settlements. Now I can't really say much about Al Sharpton. Like I said, he's getting old and he's tired. But I see him on these you know talk shows and clowning, and he doing his thing as far as where he's called to have that position now to work on CNN and all on the media, large media networks. But I still think they should have had some kind of part to say against the injustice was being done to Robert Sylvester Kelly, whether they liked him or not, whether they believed the story of the alleged victims or not. What they could have said was that the law that they gave him, they should have spoken against the law. They should have had something to say against how he was being trialed in the public without giving a fair chance, instead of going on hearsay and rumors and gossip to make them believe the man was already innocent before he even been in the court of law. There should have been some kind of stance against that they could have supported. This is what is upsetting to me about what we have today as being chosen as our civil rights leaders. Whether they believed he done these things or not, it still should have been proven in a court of law before it was put on public lifetime networks and put on mainstream networks, and he was dragged and I'm smeared all over every public outlet, newspaper, social media, whatever. They could have fought against that. That some things should not be allowed to happen to anybody in violation of his human rights. That's why I say these people are not chosen by God. They are appointed, but they're not anointed. This man, whether he agreed with Malcolm or not, they still came to an understanding about each other in this fight. Okay, so let's move on.
Call on Daddy now. He's up in Atlanta, 175 miles away. You can't even call on Mama now. You gotta call on that something and that person that your daddy used to tell you about. That power that can make a way out of nowhere. I discovered then that religion had to become real to me, and I had to know God for myself. I bowed down over that cup of coffee. I never will forget it. Oh, yes, I prayed a prayer, and I prayed out loud that night. I said, Lord, I'm down here trying to do what's right. I think I'm right. I think the cause that we represent is right. But Lord, I must confess that I'm weak now. I'm faltering. I'm losing my courage. I can't let the people see me like this, because if they see me weaken, losing my courage, they will begin to get weak. Seemed at that moment that I could hear an inner voice saying to them, Martin Luther, stand up for righteousness. Stand up for justice. Stand up for truth. And lo, I will be with you, even unto the end of the world.
Today we are honoring two men, Elmer Nickelberry and Reverend Coliphus Smith, who were part of the 1968 Memphis garbage strike that brought Dr. Martin Luther King to Memphis in support of economic and racial justice. Here is a little bit more on this historic moment.
Sorry about that. That should have never interrupted us. But anyway, as I was saying, as we was listening to some of our history and some of the things that has been done to us unjustly, and especially towards the Black American community, and how God has brought us from a dark and weary past into some marvelous things, and the people who made the sacrifice for us to get there, those who put their life on the line to help their people. And I believe that the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. put up a great fight. Even the way he had the life had for him, that had how it ended, is still he still went down in honor. Until this day, he still exists because of his great work that he's done for Christ. And that's when someone is really on the battlefield for the Lord. Jesus had to go to the cross to lead people out of the bondage of his people first, and then to go out to help the Gentiles. Because somehow, everywhere, people were being mistreated by rulers that sit in high places, that make laws that they don't even follow for themselves. But they sit in in the seat, and the only high judge among all is our Almighty Father, which is art in heaven. And I say about these bloggers that's out here just trying to game, get money, to making a living, to use this fight of Robert Sylvester Kelly's demise for a come up for them, they're going to have to answer to it. So sometimes God can fight our battle better than we can. You don't have to keep proving to nobody if you real about this fight or not. If you real, you want to walk the walk. Let them talk. Let them bash. But as long as you know your heart is in the right place, that's all that matters, and God will take care of the rest. So don't give in and don't give up on Robert Sylvester Kelly, January the 8th. If you really love him as an R&B king of the great music that we listen to, and you believe in his human rights, he should be treated just as right as any human being, you'll be there to celebrate him on that day. You'll find a way from Almighty God who will make a way out of no way for you to be there. And if you can't be there, some kind of the way you can sponsor someone to be there for the fight against the injustice done to Robert Sylvester Kelly, and that he will have a fair verdict, not this dishonest verdict that he got of 9 counts. You will still be there to educate the public about the Mann Act and how it needs to be abolished, because it has not been used fairly in the justice system. You will continue to research more and more so that this fight can continue to go on until the finish line. And that's all I got to bring to you on this Saturday of December the 11th of 2021. So you all have a blessed and wonderful weekend. And if God's willing, I'll try to get back with you again later, or not later, then maybe at a later date. So you stay blessed. Love you. Peace.